Pat Healy here from the Laker News. I am going to be chatting with Conor Blackwood, a product of Beaverbank via Windsor Junction, in our first video interview with a local athlete. Today's interview is sponsored by the Fall River Dairy Queen. Looking outside, though, I don't think it's Dairy Queen blizzard type weather.
Probably
Conor,
not.
no, Conor, you were a Halifax Moosehead product, and you're now playing with the Kentville 73s in the Central Canadian Hockey League.
Yeah.
Okay. Looking at the standings, it's a dogfight for the top four positions in the division that the Kentville team is in. They are part of the Canadian Junior Hockey League. The CCHL is equivalent to our Maritime Junior A Hockey League down here in the Maritimes, correct?
Yeah.
All right. So how is the first season going away from home and with the 73s amidst the ups and downs that the COVID pandemic has brought?
It's great, obviously, getting to do what I love every day and kind of seeing that as more of a reality rather than, a dream. But yeah, it's great. I get to play hockey every day. I get to kind of make my own, I guess the short of what I'm trying to say is I kind of have I make my own opportunity out of what I have. I make them out, I get to choose whether or not, I go in and do an extra workout because I have the time to do that, or I get to decide whether or not, I'm going to spend more time focusing on video and watching recent gameplay. It's a totally different atmosphere to compared to U18, whereas it's you're in high school and there's plenty of other distractions going on around you as well as playing hockey. Whereas this year, playing junior, being away from home, it's kind of it's refreshing almost.
Oh, okay. That's good take on it. You have a 4-4-1, one loss, overtime loss record with a 3.01 goals against average in 9 games played this year. That's not too bad for a rookie who is also in a new league.
Yeah. I mean, compares to, how I performed last year with the McDonald's, it's not exactly the start I was looking for, but again, like you said, I'm new to a league. I'm a rookie. There's always going to be that adjustment period that it takes to, kind of get used to the league, get used to the speed. And I feel like coming into the second half, I can kind of build off of what I had in the first half and improve on that in the second.
Right. Like most, COVID-19 has had an impact on your season. How have you been impacted?
Well, obviously right now I'm stuck at home, whereas in a normal year I'd be back in playing and practicing every day. But yeah, you roll with the punches. You don't know what you're going to get every day. You wake up, the cases are different. Sometimes they're high, sometimes they're low. You kind of just gotta, at this point, what we're going into our third year now straight of this pandemic. You're kind of accustomed to it at this point. You just expect the unexpected and take what you have when you have it.
Yes. You came home at Christmas time and the stay has been extended, as you said. Just before you boarded the plane, I guess, to head back up, you got word that to stay home because of the Ontario making the decision to close things for sports and stuff like that. But one plus out of this is you're getting to spend more time with your family.
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely weird too, because all of that day there had been rumors about, I guess the whole time I was home, really, there was rumors of us not going back as per schedule, but then they kind of started to dwindle off towards the last couple of days. So I'm going about my routine. I'm about to get on my plane, and then I get an email from my general manager saying that we're not doing anything until the 25th.
So when do you go back?
Well, it's kind of uncertain right now. So our league, the CCHL, is working with Ontario Public Health and trying to allow us to go back on the 17th for practices until the 25th. But as of right now, my flight set for the 24th. Like we're gonna re-begin on the 25th, and then we'll go from there. But I'm just kind of, you know, waiting to hear.
Yeah. So how are you staying sharp while you're home before you head back to Ontario?
Well, right now I'm just my mom works at a chiropractic clinic, and there's a whole like gym area in there that I've just kind of been using. I've been taking it upon myself to do my own workouts, but it's kind of a funny time. I was just, chatting with my advisor yesterday, and he was asking me all sorts of questions, and one of them was how, like, the same question that you had, how am I
Yeah.
staying sharp? And I just basically told him the same thing, and he put me in contact with a trainer, and I'm kind of working things out right now about a schedule and seeing what I can do for like the remainder of when I'm home.
All right. That's good. That's good. So what's the hockey level like up there compared to down here in Nova Scotia?
Well, it depends on what level you talk about here. Like when you talk about like the Mooseheads compared to the level in Ontario, it's like it's really similar because the skill level is pretty much the same. But when you talk about a U18 in Nova Scotia jump to junior A in Ontario, it's exponentially faster in the shot. Like the releases come in so much quicker. The players are all faster. They all have more skill. They're all smarter. It's probably the same thing when you play junior A here, but I noticed it even more so in Ontario because in our league, there's a lot of guys that rather than going and playing in the OHL, they're choosing to play in junior A.
Okay. A question that has been on my mind since I learned you were going to Ontario. Why Kempville? Why go away to play with a junior A team there instead of playing one here? How did going to Kempville come all about?
So it was kind of a product of me getting in touch with an advisor. So last year I should say, I was affiliating with the Mooseheads. I was practicing with them. I got up for a game. It was a really good experience. But then all while that's happening, I got approached by an athletic advisor because he saw that I was affiliating with them. It just piqued his interest, and he approached me and he was asking me questions about all this. And eventually I did end up, he is now my personal advisor. And he just once that happened, he basically sat me down and said, this is, you got to be realistic with your situation with the Mooseheads. Like you could end up playing for them. You might not. If you don't, like, you kind of burned bridges to try and play for them. So we kind of sat down, had a conversation, talked about what I wanted as a player, and we both decided that it's best for me to pursue the education route to go to try and get a Division 1 scholarship. So from there the question was, all right, so where do I play? And the issue with the Maritime League is we don't get a lot of exposure when it comes to American colleges. So we kind of knew right off the hop that I was going out west. And then from there, Kempville was just kind of one of the first teams that reached out to me. They were super, super easy to talk to. Like their head coach and their GM are super, super great guys. Like they Zoom called me like this, and they basically just like told me all about the program, told me like what their background is in hockey, what their plan is moving forward. And it was honestly a no-brainer to go with them because like they had a clear path. It worked. It seemed to fit for me. It just made it super simple.
It does seem like it was a good fit for you too, just from you talking and how excited you sound about being there. So that's really good. I'm happy to hear you're there. And so you hope to aspire to go to like college hockey?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like that's not something you hear about a lot coming from Nova Scotia. Like a lot of guys are just hyper focused, get to the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League. And like I was too from like basically when I was born to like last year, like that was my only goal. But it took like a little bit of self-reflection to realize that like my hockey development is coming a lot later point than a lot of guys. So the guys in the Quebec League, they developed a lot sooner and they got like bigger, stronger, faster sooner. They saw the ice, you know, at a higher level earlier in their career. And it kind of took some self-reflection to realize that, you know, my whole life I've kind of been like following the pack rather than leading it. So by the time that I'm ready to play in the queue, I'll already be too old.
Yeah.
So that's when I kind of took that. I was like, all right, well, I gotta, what's my other options are I can go CIS or NCAA. And right now I'm trying to pursue NCAA.
Cool. What's it like playing away from home with the family not being there to cheer you on?
Well, compared to last year, it not too much different. Like last year, nobody's really allowed in the
Yeah.
rinks. Like I mean, it's obviously a little different. Like, you know, you're not seeing mom and dad on the way to the rink. Like you're not seeing your brothers and sisters when you come home from practice, but like, it's kind of the same. Like the family dynamic is still there. Like I have a good billet. Like, you know, they make me meals before all my games. They like their kids are always like I don't think anything's like in my mind it's kind of a joke, but like I joke with myself like I have a brother and a sister at home. I have a brother and sister at my billet house. Like it's the same.
Yeah.
It's almost like I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah. It's like me. Like I have people in PEI that I classify as my like PEI mom and dad, but
Yeah, exactly.
they're not. But yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to see you're doing so well there and happy that you get to spend some time with your family. So thank you very much for your time, Conor. Here's hoping we get over this bump and you get back to Kemptville to continue showcasing your talent. All the best.
Thanks, Pat.
Thank you, Fall River Dairy Queen, for sponsoring this video interview. Have yourselves a great day, everyone.